And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us on the Doing All Right. We are indeed doing all right here. We got a little early, so Bryan got a little Illuminati meeting to go to or something later. So we just gonna be doing this a little early now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But we do have a list, and I should have tweeted this out or whatever. But I had a busy weekend. Bryan had another busy weekend. His was busier than mine. But we'll get this list out for y'all to watch with us. But we're gonna talk about 3 guys today, man. Three players today, and we normally go off PFF's list and we pull those names and kind of go down that, and we did get 6 of those names, but we got 4 names from Broaddus's beloved gang of 7, and it was all like, "Hey, Bryan, you should be watching these characters." I said, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
Then we'll jump right into it. Then Drew Kendall, center from Boston College; Taj Brooks, running back from Texas Tech; and Mitchell Evans, tight end from Notre Dame. Bryan, did any of these guys stand out from the rest of them? Was any of these guys up on your radar anywhere? Did they kind of blend in with the guys that we've been watching, or did you feel like we got to some of these dudes a little early?
I kind of felt like I'm always grateful to see centers, just because I just don't feel like there's enough of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In this draft. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I'm just trying to kind of get an idea about where these guys fit as in relation to, like I say, these were gang of 7 guys that said, "Hey, you need to watch this kid, or you need to watch this kid." And I'm like, okay, fine. Drew Kendall, it's funny. I scouted his dad. His dad played at Boston College. His dad was first round pick by the Seahawks, 21st overall. And he ain't his old man for sure in that regard.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I just kind of just trying to hunt guys. And I kind of feeling like that Brooks, the running back from Tech, was better.
Yeah.
Evans, I don't think he's as good as the guys we've been looking at tight end. And then Kendall is, got a spot there where probably somebody will look at the bloodlines, and, the kid was a 3-year starter at Boston College, and, he gets really, really, really close to his guy and tries to block.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of hoping that this would be a different story, but it seems to be we're still in the 4th and 5th round mode of looking at football players.
So let's do it, Bryan. Let's see. I got my board pulled up here. So I got a 5. And I want to say I got another 5. And as far as my tight end, I got another 5. Yeah, so I got all 5s, but one 5 was pushing close to extras, Bryan. So let's get into Taj Brooks. I like Taj Brooks the most out of all these characters, Bryan. He's a big body runner, a finisher. I love the finish. He's a one cutback. You know what I'm saying? He likes to look for the cutback, but I think that kind of messes him up a little bit because he'll try to be more light-footed than what he really is, and he'll get caught behind the line of scrimmage trying to do a whole bunch of cutting. But I think when he's running north and south, that's when he's at his best. So if he goes to a team that's gonna, quarterback under center, give him a bit of a running start and let him go forward, I think he's really gonna benefit there. But these shotgun runs, I don't think that they utilize him the best or whatever, right? This is what I was really upset with, though, Bryan. I feel like Texas Tech ran him on a lot of routes, but they didn't throw the ball to him. I thought he was at his best blocking on third downs, like on passing game and him blocking people. I think he's a devastating blocker, though, Bryan Broaddus. Stepping up, dealing with the linebacker, stepping outside blitzers, or just chipping the edges against these, the right tackle, left tackle, whatever. He would put defensive ends on the ground, chipping people. I'm like, damn, dog, I want to see more of him blocking people, but they running him on these routes that they're not throwing to him. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Right.
I didn't think that his vision was all that great. I thought that his ability to not get tackled by people covered up his lack of vision or whatever, Bryan Broaddus. But cool player. I got him in the 5. You know, he's all right.
Well, you missed this kid.
I missed him.
You missed this kid.
Let's go, Bryan. Tell me why.
You missed this kid. This kid does. I'll tell you what. And I think you're absolutely right about the blocking stuff.
Sure.
But this kid is. I think he is a guy that it's hard to get really a clean shot on him. And I think he can make tacklers miss. Sure. I do think he's got vision for position because like I saw him see the cutback lanes, the holes. I thought he made some kind of unique cuts just standing still, if that makes sense, that where he kind of made a cut inside a cut to get to where he needed to be, like multiple cuts to kind of get to where he needed to be. Games I watched, by the way, Arizona State and Iowa State were a couple of games I got there. But I did see some quick feet. I did see the footwork. I thought he was kind of a decisive runner once he sees it. I didn't see many negative plays with him carrying the ball. The size, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think that limits him as a pass blocker. I mean, he has got toughness. He's 5'9", he's 214. I don't think he has that breakaway speed, but he's fast enough. He's money absolutely inside the 5-yard line. The rushing touchdowns that he had one against Iowa State that sealed the game. Tough runner overall. There's a ton of carries on this kid, though.
Yeah.
There's a ton of carries on this kid. And the metrics will tell you that he was 4th in the country with rushes. He had 26 rushes of 15-plus yards. He also had 872 yards after contact, which was 17th best in the country. Something I want to point out he had a 4.06 20-yard shuttle at the combine. Now, his speed is a 4.52, but he had a 4.06 on the shuttle. So that kind of tells you a little bit of some lateral agility with this guy.
Sure.
But I kind of felt he was a little bit better. Like I say, they don't throw him the ball, but when they do throw him the ball, he can make some catches. But you're right, his toughness as a pass blocker, and I think that the ability, the balance he plays with, like I say, I think more of him. Now, he made me, Voch, have to rethink what I was doing in the 4th round.
Okay.
And actually, because I was thinking like I've got him in that group, and I know that you have Giddings from Kansas State. You have him higher. I think you have a 3rd round grade on Giddings, if I'm right about that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, but my 4th round has James from Oregon, Neal from Kansas, Giddings, Brooks, and then we're going to talk about this Damian Martinez from Miami, who I've got in that, but he's another day. He's another assignment you gave me further down the road.
Okay.
But I have Brooks. I have Brooks in the 4th. If I had to say, his grade's probably in that 148 variety, but I do have him behind James, Oregon, Neal, Kansas, Giddings, Kansas State, Brooks right there from Texas Tech, Martinez from Miami. That would be my 4th round right now as we sit.
So you have him better than our Rutgers running back, Kyle Monanka.
I do. The Rutgers running back to me is a lot like Bond, the receiver from Texas. You just keep tick, tick, tick. He keeps going down. Yeah. And then there's going to be a spot where I say, okay, that's it. That's where he is. I kind of feel like that's where Rutgers is right now. He's the guy that he is like the last guy that I'm kind of working with right now.
I tell you what, Bryan, just, you can look around the board and you can get to some of the guys that are in your 4th and 5th round, and you can go, all right, I don't really like him all that well, but I see what he does, so I can put him in the 5th. I don't think we've seen a running back that I hate yet.
No, I don't. The closest one, and I don't mean hate's a strong word.
Sure.
wouldn't, but I understand what you were doing.
Right.
Like
I like all these guys.
I do. I'm with you on this. And to me, I think they all bring various traits to the game. This kid Brooks, as you mentioned, the strength of him, I do think he's got some ability to kind of jump and make some cuts and maybe get to the edge. I don't think he's a home run hitter by any means.
Right.
But the pass blocking stuff and the catching kind of gives me some complete back vibes. Like Neil. He's kind of like that, with Neil. Don't see a breakaway guy. See a guy that can catch the ball. Probably not as good as pass blocker as this guy, but does things. When they get on the goal line, boom, there's they're putting the ball in the end zone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I envision those players. I really, really wanted to like James from Oregon a lot. And I know I have him at the top of the fourth, but that's kind of where I think he is. I can't get him in that group that we have in the third round with Blue and Harvey and those guys. I can't do that. I can't.
Yeah. Brugler likes him much more than we do. Brugler was talking to you.
Like, James.
Yeah. Like he was one, like he could be the best running back in the class. I was like, damn, Brugler. That's a little high for me too, Brian. But Brooks is a running back that I like, but he's in my 5, not because I dislike him at all.
But
me just looking at the names that are listed in my 4th round, I kind of like all those guys over him. So that's
fair. That's fair. That's fair. I made the comment, hey, you got him wrong just to be a jerk. But no, he's close. I said a 148.
Yeah.
Bottom of the 4th. You're probably got him in there the top of the 5th. I mean, you're literally the question now is, I think if I had a 4th round pick, I could, get back to him. At a 5th round pick, you think you could get to him.
Sure.
And I don't. Right. That's kind of where we're at right now about that. So, but like these backs, I think you made a very good point about, I don't hate any of these backs.
Right.
I haven't seen one, and you're going to see Martinez from Miami, and you're going to go, okay, I see what's going on here. Yeah. So yeah, it just shows me now that maybe those people that were talking about the depth of the running back room and why you don't have to grab Gente at 1, or you don't have to grab a guy at 2, that you can grab a guy at 4, 3 or 4 that you really, really, really like.
Quick Cowboy question, because I don't have nothing nice to say about Drew Kendall and Mitchell Evans. Does the news, the rumor, the buzz that the re-signing of Osa, the franchise tagging of Osa, right? The idea that the Cowboys see him as a priority, I would say, right?
Right.
Does that change your sense of urgency when it comes to drafting a tackle? I understand Osa's
great question.
Osa's a 3-tech for sure. And most of these tackles that we would be drafting are likely 1-tech guys. But, walking into it, you can't have bad at both. You know what I'm saying? But at least if you have Osa, you'll go, all right, maybe we can change how we feel about drafting 1-tech, since we know that we have him and we're putting money into him and we're prioritizing Osa. Does that change how you feel, going into this, Brian?
I was asked this question on Twitter, and I said, does it, and it was framed in a way of, does it keep you from drafting defensive tackles high?
The answer is
no.
I
said, no, absolutely not.
The answer is no.
Absolutely not. Yeah. I'm in that mode right now where I am. Does it make you think about the 3s you're looking at? Sure. Yeah. The 1s are a totally different thing. I still think you're in the market for 1 techniques and 3 techniques. Now maybe the 1 would come before the 3. I would be interested to see what Matt Eberflus and them think about Mozzie Smith. I mean, because they've sat down and they've watched the film, and obviously they've told the Joneses that we need Osa Odighizuwa here at the 3. They've told Matt Eberflus has made this very clear by the way that they went after Osa Odighizuwa that he stepped in and says, yes, we need this guy for my 3. The ones I still think, does it make me feel different about drafting Walter Nolan at 12? Sure. Yeah. Because I wasn't going to do it in the first place.
Sure.
But they liked Walter Nolan likely more than me.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I think it takes him out of that. The best news I heard coming out of the combine is that Josh Simmons' knee appears to be okay. Yeah. That, you know what? And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. When I heard that, he's in play for me at 12.
Yeah.
He's in play.
So Bryan, I don't want to be told you so guy at all, but this is something that we got to think about, right?
Oh no, you're right.
If Dr. Cooper says, hey, he's good, and I've been getting into a lot of fights about this, right? I'm not pro dire emergency at offensive line guy, right?
Yeah, I'm not either.
I just think Simmons is different. I think Simmons and Booker and Donovan Jackson, in my personal opinion, those dudes are different. It's not like I'm vouching for, all right, in the 3rd round, Trapillo. Are we talking about him? I think once you get down there is running backs, tackles, wide receivers, whatever. I just think when we talking about this early 1st round trade back or whatever, you have to consider it because they might. The Cowboys might.
Absolutely. I love Ashton Genty. I've been on record as saying I love Ashton Genty. Mm-hmm. I love Simmons too.
Yep.
I absolutely love Simmons. And by the way, I want to give you a tip of the cap, and I'm going to give you a chance to talk about this real quick, if you don't mind. You had Golden in the 1st round.
Yes, sir.
Whispers about Golden being the first receiver picked in this draft. Did you ever have those thoughts about him being the first receiver taken?
I didn't. And look, this would be a great time to lie and be like I knew this whole time. But I've always been McMillan guy as wide receiver.
I have too. Yeah.
And I think that is nonsense that we see these new mocks coming out where McMillan's falling to 15 or whatever, right?
Yeah. 19, Daniel Jeremiah.
19. Yeah. That's nonsense to me. But I felt like Golden was on the ass of Burden and Ibuka. I've always felt that way.
You absolutely have felt that way. Yep.
So hey, shouts out to Combine. I don't want to be phony because Combine doesn't really dictate how I change the board, but
he's the one guy where you can actually see the speed.
You can see it
as the player. And did you expect him to run a 4.3 whatever? No,
I did not expect it because he doesn't look 4.3 on film, but he's a track guy.
Yeah,
he's a track guy. So so you can expect that. But I think Golden definitely earned himself some money. I think he's moved up.
I think you had the vision for the player.
Yeah,
I see him as player like 16 or 17.
Sure,
you see him more like player 12. Or player 11.
Oh, I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly where I got him, Bryan. Right, he's player number 8 for me.
There you go. There you go. Yep. So if Dallas is sitting there at 12 on your board, when it's time to pick, you're going to mention that it'd be a great time here to take Matthew Golden.
Yep, Golden, and we just talked about Simmons. Josh Simmons. Simmons is my 6th guy. Bryan.
Okay.
And that's the only reason I'm talking about Simmons because he's my 6th overall player. And I honestly think if he was in last year's draft, it'll be like Joe Alt, Fautanu, and it was like Oregon State, Fuaga, and then it'll be Simmons right there. I think that highly of Simmons. And he's my 6th overall guy.
I might have Simmons and Joe Alt right there with each other.
I don't hate that at all.
That's really the one guy that would take me off Genty is Simmons.
Yeah.
He's the one guy that would take. I was on with Jeff Kavanaugh. Well, Jeff, by the way, was complaining that we never asked him to come on our show. I said, we have a quality podcast, sir. We don't have time for your kind of people. But
you ain't wrong.
But Jeff was one of the best, or still is, at identifying these wide receivers.
Sure.
I've never seen him more confused about a group in all the drafts I've worked with him. He talked about to the point of just hitting delete on all his notes and rewatching them all.
He should. I think Jeff is in a different chair now than he once was, and I can say this because I'm doing draft show now.
Yeah.
And when you're on the draft show, there's more urgency to look for details,
much more. Yeah.
So now I'm in a place to where I remember how like watching film last year, I was cool watching film, but I remember how I watched film. I watch it totally different now because I'm watching film for the purpose of showing up and fighting with y'all on a national stage. It's totally different. So I think if Jeff rewatched it with different eyes, I definitely think that he'll see.
Yeah, but maybe it is Golden is over, or the Arizona kid and the Missouri kid and the Ohio State kid. Maybe he is. I mean, all the combine does for me is I try and figure out if a guy runs really, really fast. Yor from Stanford ran fast.
Sure.
Does he play fast? The wide receiver from Stanford, does he play fast?
Not like that, no.
No, not like that fast. No. You just got to be careful with that. But Golden is the one guy, when you see a 4.3 guy, you're thinking, geez, I was thinking more of a 4.4, maybe 4.5 kind of guy.
Yeah.
But for him to run as well as he did, good for him. But I am. If you said it came, I would take Genty over Simmons. But gosh dang, I would have that would be a tough one for me. I'd throw up in my mouth a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would take them over. Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Where do you have Graham then? Where do you have Graham in relation to this?
Mason Graham is player 4 for me.
Okay. So it's Genty, Graham, Golden, Simmons. Did I have that right? Did I get that right?
Yes, sir. Genty is 3, Graham 4.
Graham 4.
McMillan is 5, Simmons is 6, and Golden is 8. Burden is 7.
Man, I think you got those guys right.
And I might flip Burden and Golden. This ain't new for me, but just
no.
See, Bryan. You didn't know me at this time, right? But I got really big from the Lamb draft, right? CeeDee Lamb draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying for months, I'm like, teams are gonna pass on CeeDee Lamb because he runs a 4.5. Henry Ruggs runs fast, and Jerry Jeudy is a route fast runny dude. So that may make CeeDee Lamb fall. Bryan, let me ask you this: do you think Golden's 40? Would you be surprised if you see somebody draft Golden over McMillan?
Not now.
Just because there's questions about McMillan running and him not running the 40 at all, do you think somebody could look at Golden and take Golden first, and McMillan may drop to us because of that?
Oh no, I think now that Daniel Jeremiah is onto something, and now I think that to me. But like I said, the McMillan tape, I challenge people. If you can, go back, even if it's YouTube, go back and watch McMillan play against
Colorado.
Yep. Go watch him in 2023. Go watch him. Yep. And then you tell me what you think of the player. Don't tell, he doesn't separate. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Bullshit.
Yeah. He separates when he jump in the air and reach over your ass. That's when he separates. Yeah.
He is separating on people. And so if you want to say that he doesn't do this and doesn't do that, and you feel like that Hunter, which a lot of people do, feel like is the best player in the draft, whether you play him at corner or whether you play him at wide receiver, there are teams that think he is the best player, one of the best players in the draft. Yeah, that kid went after his ass in that game. And if you want to watch that, and you want to come back and have a discussion with me, I'll be here. But I'm not going to sit there, like I say, McMillan, to me, I have more questions about, you talk about somebody that didn't run, is that Will Johnson. Yeah. I have a ton of questions about him. Yeah.
Bryan, man, the recent the recent events that have just gone by, man, I really feel like we're gonna be staring a couple of players in the face that we like a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Stewart's kind of climbed up the boards. I saw this mock draft that had Mike Green going at 11, and at one point, I really thought McMillan wouldn't be there, Brian. I think we might be staring him and Genty in the face, Brian. McMillan and Genty in the face.
I wouldn't. There's people now though that say that Genty's going to go before Dallas picks at 12.
Okay.
Now you have to ready yourself for, would you take, say, Simmons, or would you take McMillan? That's what you have to kind of ready yourself for. I mean, is there a defensive player that you would throw? I mean, we threw Graham in there, right?
Yep.
We threw him in there.
I think Graham would be gone. I think Carter would be gone. So the next closest player on defense that I would have is like Jahdae Barron, but I don't think Jahdae Barron's up there with these guys. I think Barron is he's my player 11. So I just got a bunch of offense in the middle, Brian. I actually added a player to my list of first round grades, Brian Broaddus. I added Tyler Booker to that list. I just stopped messing around with it.
Good
Brian,
for you. No, good for you. No, you've been the Tyler Booker truther throughout the whole thing when it first started. I personally like Jackson better, but you know what? If you gave me a choice between Booker and Jackson, of course I'm going to take Jackson. But if you said Booker is the pick, I would march with that. I would be okay with that. I mean, depending who else is on the board, though, maybe some of these other guys, maybe if it's a McMillan or somebody like that, I might think differently. But Booker would help you a lot.
Now, Brian, this is something that's heavy on my spirit. Then we could talk about Mitchell Evans and Drew Kendall because we ain't got nothing nice to say about it. Brian, this has been heavy on my spirit. I just want to ask you. I just get feelings and hunches about stuff like this, right? We're at 12. We're at 12 overall, right? I'm not saying you. I'm not saying Voch. What do you think Dallas thinks about Tyler Booker at 12? I'm not saying they're going to do it. I don't know how they feel. But in my mind, I just didn't think it'll be a thing because he's a guard. And I just don't think that teams look at guard that way. But I start thinking about the best guards and where you take the best guards, right?
Yeah.
Guys like a Zach Martin, where would they go? Or guys like a Quentin Nelson, or even Kelvin Banks in your case, right? You like Kelvin Banks enough to take him take him early in the top 12,
right?
And just play him at guard. I think of Tyler Booker in that way, Brian. And Zach Martin's retiring. It is what it is. Brian, what you think they think of Booker? Like, what do you think they think of Booker? You got the arm length that they like. They love length, Bryan Broaddus. 34-inch arms, Bryan Broaddus. What you think they think of Tyler Booker at 12?
I would think they would probably not be willing to make that one, make that call. I'm going to say what's going to happen at that right guard position. They're going to sign Will Hernandez from Arizona is what they're going to do.
That's what you guessing? You assuming?
That's what I'm thinking they're going to do. That's what I think they're going to do. They're going to do something like that. They're going to get Will Hernandez to come in here and play and compete for the right guard spot. Is what. Do I think that they like Booker? Yeah, I do. I don't know if they like Booker enough to pick him at 12. But man, I tell you what, he would sure fix a lot of things. He sure would fix a lot of things.
Also, Brian, what actually made me think about it, I was watching Kendall, and I was like, "What? So much for drafting the center and moving, what's his name, the right guard? That ain't happening because these centers ain't it."
We're having a hard time with these centers. We're having a hard time, and you mentioned Kendall,
Drew Kendall. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will. But to finish up on your point,
please.
I think that they would look at 12 being. Now I'm going to dig in. I got some combine follow up I have to do, but that is one of the first questions I need to ask with people. Like, where do you see where do you see Booker? Is Booker a top 10 guy? Is Booker 12? Is Booker 18 to 24? Where is he? If I could find out where he is on boards, I could have an idea of where Dallas probably needs to think about him. But I've got some digging to do on that. And so hopefully in some coming shows, I could better answer your question. But I think they like him, but I don't know if they like him enough to take him at 12. Just right now, that's my thinking.
I would like to know also, Bryan, and I don't know if they even gonna tell you this. What does wiped out look like this year?
I'm the king of what's put me in the worst possible situation to me.
What is wiped out? Just context, right? Context. Just for people that's listening, we drafted Zach Martin because Shazier, Aaron Donald, and it was one other character. They're gone. We got wiped out, and that's why we drafted Zach Martin. I would love to know what is wiped out for the Cowboys this year. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what? After what the discussion that you and I had earlier, do you think they're going to get wiped out?
I think there's a lot of characters on this board they'll like, Bryan. Drafting at 12.
I do too. I think there's a couple things that are probably going to happen. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody's going to trade up to them. No. So I think they're going to have to sit. I don't think they're going to get wiped out. I think there's going to be a guy that they absolutely love. But I will ask the question because when I worked in pro personnel there, I used to create mock draft situations where we got wiped out.
Yeah.
And what did we do? Who do we pick when we got wiped out? But if you're telling me I have a shot potentially at Simmons or McMillan or somebody like that, I wonder if a wiped out scenario would be take Campbell, the linebacker from Alabama.
Sure.
I wonder if that would be a wiped out situation to them.
Just looking at my board from my 12th player. Let's see.
Who would you take? Yeah, who would you take? Who would you take after 12? I mean, I know who are players 13, 14 for you?
13 and 14 is Kelvin Banks and Siobhan Ravel from ECU.
Yeah, okay. So I'd be happy with either one of those guys.
So 12 for me and going up is Mike Green, Barron, Abuka, Booker, Golden, Bird, and Simmons.
They're not going to get wiped out.
Yeah,
they're not going to get wiped out. There's a likelihood. There might be a likelihood that because if we're here and we've talked about this, if player 12 is the same as player 40, is there a reason to trade up? We have to be prepared that phone is not going to ring.
I tell people all the time.
Yeah, be prepared. But you know what? I don't need the phone to ring if all those players that we just talked about are on the board.
I like all those guys, right?
I do too. Every one of those guys that you mentioned would absolutely help this football team. Yep. All right, let me do Kendall for you real quick if I could.
We ain't got much to say about it, but go ahead, please.
Oh, I got something to say about him. Okay. My man, son of Pete Kendall. Okay. I scouted he was Boston College. Okay. First round selection of the Seahawks in 1996. Was old Pete Kendall, his dad. This kid's a 3-year starter for the Eagles. I think he's got some pretty decent athletic ability for the position. I think there was a snap or two where I thought he was going to get jerked out of his stance, and then he was kind of able to recover and then kind of stay on his feet. I thought there was maybe a problem that he was going to get pulled to the ground. There's absolutely no separation between him and the defender. He gets his hands as tight to the defender as he can. I think he stays engaged with the defender. I think it's when he has to sit down, he'll hop a couple of times and then he'll hold his ground. Florida State tried to move him more than Missouri did. And so when I was watching those games, because I was kind of interested in our defensive tackle from Florida State.
Man, Bryan, go ahead. You are right on track. Go ahead.
Yeah, but he plays in a very run-heavy offense. And so, he doesn't have great length, but he does hang in there. The quickness, the sustain. I saw him a couple of times with combo blocks. He'll kind of pull, get and climb his guy, and he can try and steer a guy. So he'll get stacked. I mean, this guy does not have a ton of power, and he'll strain to keep, to try in order to get movement. And, so that's really where he is. I think to me that I would like to have more bulk on him as a blocker, but he does have some sticky elements to his game, and the experience as a starter, I think, is something you have to kind of take into account. But 6'5", 308 is not a big guy inside for you. And I know you like to play with bigger dudes inside that way.
Bryan, I watched Missouri, Florida State, Louisville, and SMU.
Yeah.
I didn't think I had to watch that many games, Bryan.
Yeah.
Missouri was first, and he looked decent versus Missouri. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
We kind of got a center. He did nothing versus the Florida State kids.
Yeah.
Nothing. Backwards, stalemates, falling all over the place. I'm like, damn, which guy is it?
Yeah.
I continue to watch my film. I say, all right, he's more of this game. Missouri ought to be ashamed of themselves, Bryan. But
Missouri has a big, powerful guy that he sat down on every single time, and I was like going, was this one of those early season games where the kid across him was not in terrible shape and all that? And but yeah, there's I am hopeful that things get better. I'm running out of time though, looking at these centers.
Yep.
It might be a conversion of a guy, Bo, somebody like that. It might be a conversion. Hell, there's plenty of these guards. It might be our North Dakota State, guard that might be movement over. But I've yet to see a center that just completely blows me away in a way. Lampkin is too small. Lampkin would be good.
Sure.
He's too small.
Yeah.
Too small. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm kind of stuck right now. And I put him up there thinking that somebody might take him because of the name and the fact that he was a 3-year starter and the fact that he is light in the pants. Yeah. I mean, light in the pants for a player for that position.
But yeah, man, you nailed it, man. I didn't think he was a powerful player, and I didn't think that he dealt with powerful players very well. But
not well.
But I saw him pull a few times. He looked good pulling and blocking in open space. He had some good movement and mirror to him, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
And as far as our guy Mitchell Evans, I really didn't see much from him neither. I think he was pretty solid to the the short game and the medium game. Like, him
right.
Right around the first down is where that's where he's making his money. And not really a super vertical guy. Hands are decent. I've seen him make some contested type catches or whatever, and he held on to them. Sure, fine, but didn't blow me away speed wise. I thought he found ways to navigate in the zone pretty well, but I wouldn't see him as a separator, as a man beater type guy at all. And I wouldn't call him a devastating blocker, but he was a high effort, getting away kind of guy, and that's kind of what I got from Mitchell Evans.
Yeah, you've got this guy right. He is a low yield as a pass catcher. When you talk about yards and stuff like that, there were a couple of times I watched some A&M and I watched some Georgia, but he catches the ball and kind of gets what he can. I've seen games before, TV games, where he's caught the ball along the sidelines and maybe got 10 or 12 extra yards out of that. This guy he's going to play a lot of different spots. His best trait is catching the football. He can adjust to badly thrown balls, but he's mainly going to run underneath. He's going to cross. He's kind of a chain moving guy. He's going to win contested balls. The inline blocking is some pop effort. He does well in order to find other blocks as well. You can kind of see him get off. I would not call him a great space blocker. He will struggle when he has to kind of win those assignments. When they ask him to stay in and pass protect, he's not the best at that either. He was just kind of able to get the job done. I like the way he tracked the ball. I like the way he attacked the ball, but there's just not a burst to get away with defenders. And there's so many. That's why you have so many contested catches. Yeah. He did run 4.74 at the combine in his 40. But what happened is, if you look at the rest of the measurable stuff that you can do, the vertical, the broad jump, there's no explosive to this. There's no explosive power to this guy. Yeah. And so he's 6'5", he's 258. He's really a backup tight end player is what he is. And so I'm going to let somebody else probably take this player. Yeah. But like I said, he is he's just, there's just, like to say, those jumps. There's nothing explosive to his game, and you see it with the jumps. There's just not. They're just pretty ordinary, average power numbers in that regard.
Yeah. Nothing to see here, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to see here. So, hey, we're gonna get back on that PFF list. Hey, tell your game 7 that Voch Lombardi not impressed by the recommendations. Just let him
when I ask him all these questions, I'll try and keep your name out of the conversation. How about that?
Yeah. Don't tell him I said it directly, but just let him know I said it.
I know someone probably watching us talk right now, so
it's all right. It's all right. Hey, look, thank you for your opinion and your information. But I wasn't very swayed by your
by your list of guys
suggestions there. I wasn't swayed by your suggestions.
Everybody has different flavors of ice cream, right, bro? Different flavors.
They got some wild purple ass ice cream that don't nobody.
Yeah, some wild purple ass ice cream for sure.
Hey man, ladies and gentlemen. Don't tell us what you think about Drew Kendall, Mitchell Evans, and Taj Brooks. If you want to, you can, but we have a good feeling what you possibly think.
I would be interested in what people think about Brooks.
Tell us what you think Taj Brooks can play. Tell what you think about Taj Brooks there. The next 3 players we're going to look at for Wednesday's show, Billy Bowman, the safety from Oklahoma, Damian Martinez, y'all been bothering us about that one there, the running back from Miami, and Terrence Ferguson. He's the very, very last player on Dane Brugler's top 100, Bryan Broaddus. So we need to watch Terrence Ferguson, the tight end from Oregon.
Right. Gotcha, sir.
And that's our next 3 for Wednesday's show, okay? Love y'all to pieces. Y'all tap in VOCHLOMBARDI and BRYN Broaddus on social medias. And I'll be on the draft show tomorrow. So y'all be sure to watch.
Oh, you're a draft show tomorrow?
Yeah. Watch all the draft shows, by the way, but I'm just letting y'all know I'm on it, so y'all can tap in.
Oh, I can't wait to see you there, my friend.
I'll see you there, boss. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all hold it down until next time. We love you to pieces. Till next time. Crown.